Okay, I believe we're live. Well, welcome to another Nerd Stalkers Kickstarter Unboxed. Good morning. This is Greg Gloria, aka Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. And welcome to another episode of Kickstarter Unboxed, where we interview Kickstarter entrepreneurs. Today we'll be speaking with Robert Kopka, co-founder of Luke Robert, the maker of Fluxo, which is the world's first truly smart light, and currently active on Kickstarter. And we'll let Robert talk more about this a little later. Anyway, good morning, Robert, and welcome to Nerd Stalker Live, Kickstarter Unboxed, live from Austria, right?
Yes, welcome and thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. So let's just get into this. I was introduced to you by a friend of ours who we did another Kickstarter unboxed on, I guess, earlier last year. And so tell us a little bit about yourself and the company.
Right, so as you said, we are based in Vienna, and we had two co-founders, and we used to work in management consulting before, and after a couple of years, that was too boring. We wanted to build something real, and that's when we came up with the idea of developing a really smart lamp. So we tried all these Philips Hues and Livix and all these smart bulbs, but we thought, why still having this bulb shape? There must be something better than the bulb shape because it's not bright enough, and also the functionalities, it's just too limited. And so we brainstormed together, and we came up with a lamp that is really different than all these light bulbs. So Fluxo is the first pendant lamp where you can have unlimited lighting possibilities. You can have direct light, indirect light. You can even move the light in different directions with simple paint gestures on your phone. So if you paint on the left, it illumines the left part of the room. If you paint on the right, it illumines the right part, and you can even have different colors. So we think it's the best lamp that you can have right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the website right now, and maybe you could talk over it. So here is an example of what it does. It looks like it has LEDs and zones or something like that, right?
Right, there are 300 LEDs, and you can more or less control them by simply painting.
I see, and it's controlled via smartphone, which is kind of cool.
Exactly, with Bluetooth Low Energy. So it's not connected to the internet. It's just locally connected with Bluetooth.
I see. Wow, that's cool. So there's 300 LEDs in this, and you guys aren't engineers, right?
Oh, we are both engineers.
Oh, you're both engineers. You just
Right.
worked for a management company.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, interesting. So you had to go back to your.
back to our roots and build something.
Are you guys both like electrical engineers or mechanical engineers, or?
Lucas is an electrical engineer, and I'm a software engineer.
Oh, okay, so that makes total sense at this point. Yeah, I think it makes total sense. Wow, and you made it into a marketing consulting company. Wow, that's an interesting story, actually. So, but yeah, tell us. I mean, are you surprised by? I looked at your numbers, and you're way over your goal. Now, was your goal modest, or did you feel that, like, were you blown away by this response? Because you raised, I think it was, you have about 50,000 you had as a goal, and you have over 300,000 right now, right?
Right, I think it's 350 or something.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, we talked to a lot of Kickstarter projects that have done that before, and everybody told us to get a goal that is as low as possible, because it's much easier to attract people if you have already reached your goal. So that's where when we crunched the numbers and said, okay, we could do something with 50,000, but our internal goal is obviously higher. So we really wanted to get 200,000. So we are still blown away a little bit because it's almost twice the 200,000. But it's great success. You always plan for that, but you never know if it's working out or not. So Kickstarter is a little bit unpredictable. People can like it or can hate it, and so we are lucky enough that we found a lot of people who really like that.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask you: when was the exact time that you actually came up with this idea between you and your other co-founder?
That was back in 2014,
Okay.
and so we quit in 2014. We spent the last year developing, and now the prototypes are ready, and we'll ship in August, September this year.
I see. So like when you and Luke, right? I guess uh thought about this idea and you said, okay, let's go ahead and prototype this. I mean, did you just take parts that you found on the internet and cobble it together and kind of tested it out with the Bluetooth control, or how did you actually work on that together?
It was a little bit of, or most of it was just based on software and analytics, and so we didn't spend a lot of money at the beginning. We just analyzed the possibilities and came up with this solution and talked to people without any working prototype, and that's when we got the first feedback. And after that, we raised some money, and with this money, we really developed the first prototype. So we had, I think, half a year where we talked about it, but didn't really have a working prototype. That was really hard because people always want to have the real thing to give you a good feedback.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
hardware development is really expensive. That's why we try to have, yeah, at least at least prototypes that as possible, because we don't have millions to spend.
Yeah, and that's the whole startup game, right? Is kind of you're bootstrapping yourself. Now, have you guys totally left your old company and you're doing this
Yes. So
full time now?
yeah, we quit and we're doing this 150% now.
I like that 150%. So let's go back to the Kickstarter campaign a little bit, and can you tell the audience, is there something that you learned about your product you didn't know about before you started the Kickstarter campaign?
Yeah, so we brainstormed a lot and thought, what will be the questions of the backers? And we thought that people will have a lot of, want different designs, different colors, different lengths of the cable, or something like that. But they are not really interested in that. The only thing they want is connectivity. They really want to connect it with everything they have in their smart home, and they want to integrate it in their existing systems. And that's where we also change the second stretch goal and try to get more interconnectivity, work together with other hubs that were on Kickstarter before, also with open hubs, so that really people can integrate that into their smart homes. We try to have Fluxo as a standalone smart product, but we still see this demand that you can connect it with other devices.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because you kind of talking about, are you guys looking at this as a long-term company? And I can imagine a lot of products coming out of this type of base product that you have called Fluxo. So, can you talk a little bit about maybe, how you want to take this company in the future?
Right. So our vision is to develop a whole range of smart products or smart lighting products that connect together and that learn from your behavior. So you enter your home and you get the light that you need wherever you need it, whenever you need it. And so that this is really to develop a bigger company and being at the forefront of the smart lighting revolution. And Flux
Wow.
is just the first test, proof of concept to make sure people really like what we are doing. And we see a lot of demand for floor lamps and stuff like that. And I think we
Yeah.
can really use this paint your light technology for different products as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think we were talking offline, and I do a lot of video work. Smart lights and video is another place that I think it could be applied to in a different way, different than what they do currently. So, wow, that's pretty exciting. So when do you do your first shipments to the backers?
That's planned for August, September.
I see. Yeah, that's pretty
So we
much
still
coming up.
need sometimes some iteration for optimization of the production and also the certification for the United States and for Europe.
Yeah, and that those could have different timelines depending on how you're going to get it certified, of course.
Right.
Are you manufacturing it in Europe?
Yes, mainly. I mean all the electronic components and PCBs, so the circuit boards are from Asia, but the
Mm,
rest will be manufactured in Europe.
wow, that's exciting. Oh, well, that's great, because I think Europe has a lot of untapped potential in manufacturing and high quality manufacturing too, as well.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's also easier if it's close by, and we only have so we are expecting 1,200 pieces, and manufacturers in Asia don't care about this small volume. So it's I think it's really easier for the beginning to start in Europe And if we're going into larger orders, we can go to Asia.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right. If the volumes aren't high, and then taking trips from where you are to China, though it may not be that far in general in time, it's kind of expensive. So, if you don't have the high volumes, that's a great point. I think I interviewed a German company just recently who had was trying to debate them the same thing, but their products go on bicycles, so it was a little bit more mass produced than yours, but they were still going through the same kind of struggle on manufacture local, keep a little bit of control, see what the initial prototypes look like or initial production run looks like, and then decide if it scales, go elsewhere. So, wow, that's exciting. So anyway, I want to talk about, choice of a crowdfunding campaign before we, close here. Why did you choose Kickstarter?
There are obviously two big crowdfunding platforms. That's Kickstarter and Indiegogo, and we assessed both, and we found out that the success rate on Kickstarter is much higher. It's above 40% compared to 9% or something on Indiegogo, and that's also because of their quality levels. They have some criteria that you have to fulfill, otherwise you're not allowed on Kickstarter. And it's also the most, it's just the biggest platform out there. And we knew that we want something international. So we also see a lot of backers from the United States, from Canada, from Australia. So that's why we didn't go with a European platform. We really wanted to be on Kickstarter as the biggest one.
Yeah, and you guys have been pretty fortunate, I think, too. So as you start to exceed your goals, then you get highlighted more by Kickstarter, and then you get noticed more. So it's this kind of logarithmic curve after you get hitting your goal, right? So
you need to get this first push, and that's really family and friends. So the first day or until you reach your initial goal, that's really what you have to do. So that's your homework. If you can do that and the product is good, it can really grow.
How long did it take to get to your first goal?
10 hours.
Serious?
Thanks. Something like that.
And all this was promoted just by Bootstrap by you guys, right?
We started the planning about half a year ago, and so we talked to a lot of people and collected pre-orders more or less on an Excel sheet, and that's where we contacted them, all of these guys, on the first day, and asked them to back us as early as possible. That's also where we have the early bird price. That was $2.99 for the first 100 pieces, and we knew that we can more or less sell these 100 pieces, and that's where also the goal was, and that worked out pretty well.
Wow, that's exciting. Yeah, that's great. Well, anyway, you have 5 more days left on Kickstarter, which is you don't have any more stretch goals to go, right? You guys have exceeded all your stretches, right?
We will announce one today if we reach 400,000.
Oh yeah? Oh wow! Can you share with the audience what that is?
It will be about connectivity.
Oh, okay,
and
good.
For the nerds doing something with Arduino and controlling GLAM.
Oh, that's cool.
We'll be announcing in a couple of hours.
So basically, you have about 40,000 to go, right, to reach that goal, right? Okay. Well, good. Well, let's see if we can get you there. So how can let's close off the interview, and I appreciate your time. I know you guys are pretty busy. How can listeners get a hold of you and get a hold of your Kickstarter campaign?
I mean, you can find us on Kickstarter, obviously. If you type in Fluxo, you can find us. And there's also the link to our website, and you can contact us on Facebook or Twitter. So I think it's all connected, and we really appreciate any feedback.
Yeah, no, it's good. Well, thank you again. Anyway, we'll close this off. That was Robert Kopka, the co-founder of Luke Robert, which is their 2 names. You could tell by that. The maker and developer of Fluxo, the world's first smart light, whose project you'll find in the next 5 days at Kickstarter. And he just announced that they have a new stretch goal that is coming up tomorrow, and which will have to do with connectivities. And the first shipments come out in August of 2016. So anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Greg Valoria, aka Social Greg, on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Thanks again, Robert. I appreciate your time.
Thanks.